This is the Cessna 425 Conquest I, the aircraft that may still be the least expensive way to get into the world of turboprop twins. Talk about the current market of new million-dollar piston singles, and inevitably, someone will argue that you could buy a twin turboprop for less, and the Conquest I is one of them. The current Aircraft Bluebook pegs a 425 at about $650,000, and for those looking to move into the world of Jetta-burning twins, the Conquest is worth a look. The airplane has a reputation for being a relatively easy step-up turbine, if not a logical step, for eventually moving into a Cessna Citation jet. The 425's strengths are relative economy with good performance, including balanced field numbers, excellent handling characteristics, a well-designed cockpit for flying single pilot, good CG, good loading options, and a comfortable business jet-like cabin. Of course, we don't have to mention that a Conquest ownership, or any twin turboprop for that matter, won't be cheap. But among twin turboprops, a Cessna 425 may be one of the least expensive ways to get into the world of turboprop twins. Its direct competitors might be the Piper Cheyenne, Beech King Air 90, and even some turboprop singles. Stay with us till the end of the video because here is everything you need to know about the 425 Conquest I. Stepping inside, while the 425 does not have the payload capacity of a C-90 King Air, it is nearly a fill-the-seats airplane. With lots of lard and luggage toward the rear of the airplane, CG has to be checked carefully, but the loading range is quite wide. The Conquest is a good family and business traveler. The average 425 can seat 8, 2 in the cockpit, 4 in club seats, and 2 in the additional full seat on the left rear side of the cabin and belted potty seat. Even with the maximum number of seats, there is a generous baggage area in the aft cabin, which is about 30 cubic feet or 850 liters and holds 500 pounds or 227 kilograms in the pressurized cabin. Unlike the piston-powered 400 series Cessnas, there are no wing lockers. The cavernous nose houses another 22.4 cubic feet or 635 liters of baggage area with a maximum load of 600 pounds or 270 kilograms. It's a big airplane. Baggage loading is a snap with the giant nose baggage bin accessible by 3 doors. It can swallow with skis, golf clubs, and other awkward cargo. It can be awkward for pilots who just secured the cabin door to squeeze up the aisle after all the passengers are seated. Once everyone is seated, however, the 425 is a comfortable ride. Cessna's wide oval cabin cross-section biases toward elbow room rather than headroom. The side-facing seat in the rear doubles as a potty. There is a lot of cubic space in both the cabin and baggage areas that could tempt those lacking caution and experience to exceed load limits. Yield not to that temptation. Aside from CG concerns, exceeding maximum loads can cause serious performance deterioration, especially in high-density altitude conditions. You don't want to go there with this airplane. A noticeable improvement was made in the later run of 425s. Better interior design, fit, and finish. Appearance, comfort, and durability all were improved. Redesigned cabinetry also provided more legroom for passengers in the principal 4 club chairs. Passengers and pilots generally like the Conquest for comfort. A Conquest with well-balanced rotating components and a fully functioning propeller synchrophaser can be relatively quiet and comfortable at cruise power settings, especially at propeller RPM of less than 1,900. Each airplane has an ideal low vibration RPM that can be determined with practice. Good propeller balancing makes it even better. Now let's step into the cockpit. As mentioned previously, it can be a bit awkward for pilots who just secured the cabin door to squeeze up the aisle after all the passengers are seated. But once everyone is seated, the 425 is a comfortable ride. The instrument panel is well laid out and has room for anything a pilot desires. Like many legacy turboprops, the panel is a mix of old and new technology. Cockpit visibility is excellent as well. You'll find many 425s with upgraded avionics, but some still sport original Collins gear. Look hard at the performance of original autopilots, including the optional Sperry and later Honeywell SPZN 500 flight control system. Even for its $75,000 cost at the time, it was a big improvement over the ARC Cessna 1000 FCS, which has been one of the weak links in the 425 and other Cessna twins. Some models were equipped with a ARC 800 series autopilot, which is even less desirable than the 1000. Still, these are aging systems that can be expensive to maintain. If you find one with Collins or ARC avionics, we would budget $100,000 to start for a full-up avionics retrofit, and likely more if you replace the autopilot. Common upgrades include the Garmin G600 TXI primary flight display, S-Tech digital autopilot, and Garmin GTN navigators. Don't forget ADS-B transponders. Some airplanes sourced overseas might not be equipped. It may be time for some panel work anyway. As a requirement for British certification, a master caution warning system was added. This is a useful addition because the annunciator panel can be hard to see in direct sunlight, even though it is mounted at the top of the panel under the glare shield. The 425 is single-pilot capable, but only if you are. An accident scan uncovered a surprising number of issues in IMC, proving that while the Conquest I has a reputation for being an easy turboprop to fly by yourself, you need to bring the A-game. The reward for doing so is a cockpit with decent ergos, made even better by modern electronic displays that bring lots of data in a centralized location. The cockpit dwelling is also comfortable for most pilots of average to large size. Visibility is good. Control harmony in flight is fair. Pitch is the heaviest force, and this is by design. Appropriate trim input is a key to flying the 425 smoothly. Even so, pitch changes resulting from configuration adjustments are modest. They are more obvious with power changes, particularly major power changes, as when transitioning from approach to missed approach or go-round. There are no peculiar tricks, however. From both the pilot eye-level perspective and physical or reaction demands, the 425 probably is the simplest of all the turboprops to transition to. Thus, the nickname baby carriage. Pilots transitioning from light twins will have to get a feel for control pressures, trim use, aircraft performance, and weight, inertia. But good training and a bit of experience quickly lead to confidence. Now let's talk about the engine, performance specifications, and how it flies. One of the elemental strengths of the 425's design is the nearly bulletproof Pratt & Whitney Canada PT6 free turbine engine. The A112 version originally installed is a fairly unsophisticated one that is not highly stressed. It is flat rated at 450 shaft horsepower, and overhaul will be every bit of $400,000 at the 3,500 hour mark. For pilots transitioning to turbine power, and for operators at smaller airports, PT6 power is the proven right choice and is easy to support. But you'll still need to thoroughly understand how to and how not to operate these engines, or you'll pay dearly on the shop floor. The Conquest is not a Model 421 with PT6As, not by any stretch. The 425 is its own airplane, even though a handful of Continental GS0 520N powered Cessna 421 Golden Eagles have the Riley 421 prop jet conversion. This includes Honeywell LTP-01 engines and winglets. But there are a number of distinctions, and very different systems were installed in the Conquest. It would make about as much sense to call a 421 a pressurized 411 or a 414 a wide-body 340. But make no mistake, all are products of the same basic design and engineering philosophy, and the later 400 series airplanes reflect many of the lessons learned in designing, developing, and building the 500 series Citations. At its introduction as the Corsair, the 425 had a maximum takeoff weight of 8,200 pounds, or 3,720 kilograms, and a basic empty weight of 4,870 or 2,210 kilograms. Full usable fuel weight of 2,450 pounds or 1,110 kilograms, an average optional equipment weight of 300 to 75 pounds or 170 kilograms left a pretty miserly payload or 503 pounds or 230 kilograms. The maximum takeoff weight was increased to 8,600 pounds or 3,900 kilograms and 1,983, and the basic empty weight increased by 52 pounds or 23 kilograms, leaving most of the increase for payload. At the same time, the 425 was formally inducted into the Cessna prop jet family and was renamed the Conquest I. Earlier models could be modified to the new weights quite easily, and most all have been. Zero fuel weight increased from 6,740 to 7,000 pounds, or from 3,057 to 3,175 kilograms, while maximum landing weight remains 8,000 pounds or 3,630 kilograms. With sea-level standard temperature conditions and gross weight, a well-flown 425 can clear a 50-foot obstacle after a run of 2,420 feet or 737 meters. If you are used to flying a Skyhawk or a Cherokee, that may sound like a lot of runway, but for an airplane that is nearly 9,000 pounds or 4,080 kilograms, that's pretty good. The engines allow a maximum rate of climb per minute of 2,030 feet or 620 meters, and a maximum cruising altitude of 34,700 feet or 10,575 meters. Off the ground, the 425 operates best between FL 230 and 280, while maximum speed of 260 knots comes at 18,000 feet, fuel burn is high. At FL 260, max cruise power produces 251 knots and 1,240 nautical miles still air range. In the mid-20s, the plane is a 5-hour-plus reserves airplane, with a maximum operating speed of 230 knots. Indicated airspeed and max gear operating of 175 and approach flaps of 174, the 425 can return to pattern altitude quite quickly when necessary. Like we said, manageable for pilots stepping into the world of twin turbines. And finally, the aircraft has a maximum range of 1,646 nautical miles, which is 1,895 miles or 3,050 kilometers, and a minimum landing distance of about 2,150 feet or 655 meters. Now let's talk about the price and cost. The base purchase price for a used Cessna 425 Conquest I is $400,000 to $1 million before options, and while the annual fixed cost is estimated at $300,000 to $500,000, the average hourly operating cost is estimated at $1,500 to $2,500. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Here are 2 videos you can watch next. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.